Hi, everybody. I'm Roger Primo. I'm the General Manager for Corporate Strategy for IBM.
And I'm David Farrell. I'm the General Manager for Red Hat Strategic Alliances. Good to be here.
We hope everybody's having a great reInvent, and we wanted to spend some time with you today to talk about the exciting work that we're doing together between IBM, Red Hat, and Amazon Web Services. So first, I'll just start a little bit with IBM and how much we're changing our business. Frankly, that's my day job, is to help pivot IBM around, we'll get to it in a minute, around the hybrid cloud. But it comes all the way from our CEO. Just to read for a minute, we are committed to building a growing ecosystem of partners that will serve as an enduring hybrid cloud platform that will serve as a powerful catalyst for innovation for our clients in the world. And we fundamentally believe that this hybrid cloud platform is the innovation platform for businesses and for software and SaaS vendors and builders as well. So I'll just take us forward. Open hybrid cloud is the foundation of it all. But Dave, I think, given Red Hat, tell us a little bit about what Red Hat's doing with RHEL, open source, and OpenShift.
Yeah, thanks, Roger. Appreciate that. It's probably not a surprise to too many that Red Hat feels very strongly about open, and Red Hat was founded on open with RHEL over 20 years ago, Red Hat Enterprise Linux. And since then, the portfolio has expanded dramatically to provide an end-to-end open hybrid cloud platform that has everything from the operating system running on the chip up to the application, and then horizontally across the automation and the management layer. So that portfolio is manifested through, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, but also OpenShift, right, which is our container and Kubernetes, our open source container and Kubernetes product that we put in the market over 5 years ago. So we're now on version 4 of that. It is a very hardened platform that thousands of customers are running today in a hybrid environment, to your point. And then bringing automation and management capability with leading automation technology coming out of the Ansible portfolio as well, so that it's about building applications, it's about modernizing the applications that already exist, and then having a highly automated environment that allows developers and allows operators to do what they do best, which is to innovate and to scale and to drive highly scaled industrial class applications seamlessly and at a terrific economic model, with a particularly strong economic model. So it is all about open, and Red Hat has been the flag bearer for the open cause in the marketplace for over 2 decades now. We continue to do that. We're excited about our partnership. We have an open ecosystem with many thousands of partners that are out there across the cloud community, across the services and the consulting community, the solution developer community. But one of those partnerships that we place a lot of value on is also with IBM. IBM and Red Hat have been partners for a long time, as have AWS and Red Hat. We're encouraged to see IBM's commitment to open manifested through Red Hat and through a number of other initiatives that IBM's doing in the open communities as well. So the future is open, Roger, and we also see it the same way IBM does, that the future is hybrid, and absolutely the future is cloud as well. And maybe you want to make some comments about hybrid and cloud.
Sure. Well, I'd say fundamentally, this is an innovation platform. And the reason why we believe it's an advantage innovation platform is because it recognizes the hybrid reality of many of our clients and many of our partners. Innovation can't just be limited to where we run the public cloud, right? We have to have innovation across our entire business. Technology is no longer a department. It is a strategic function for companies, and they have to accelerate that innovation across their entire enterprise estate. And by the way, that hybrid environment is getting more complex, not less complex. As edge workloads come on, different public clouds and private clouds come on, hybrid is becoming the norm, and it's getting more complex and heading more in a hybrid direction than it has been. But then when you talk about public cloud, we're excited to be partnering with Amazon Web Services. We're meeting our clients where they are, and more often than not, if they're on public cloud, they're on AWS. So I'll just flip you ahead to talk about some of the realities of the market that we're serving today. When we look at our large enterprise clients, we see that only about 20% of their workloads have made it to the public cloud. And that's not due to lack of effort. There've been initiatives on that for a very long time. But the reality is that 80% of their workloads still live in that heritage environment that they've been in. And that's because of the mission criticality, the complexity of those workloads, the unique environments that they run in, or the regulatory environment in which some of the industries in which they operate. when we look with our clients at the economic value proposition of moving to the hybrid cloud as their innovation platform, we see a 2.5 times greater return on that than a public cloud strategy alone. And that's because they accelerate innovation, they drive developer productivity, they lower security costs and improve their security standards, and they optimize the infrastructure costs on which they run. So real business value propositions around moving to that hybrid innovation platform. Dave, do you want to just spend a minute talking about bringing it to life with a client on top of the hybrid cloud?
Yeah, Roger, thanks. So Cathay Pacific is one that we're particularly proud of. Most people know who Cathay is. They operate in one of the world's largest airlines. They operate in arguably one of the world's most competitive industries as well. And Cathay had a set of challenges that a lot of customers can relate to, right? They had, decades of technology and architecture that had been developed and invested in from a platform perspective, and also from a people and a skill and an operating model perspective as well. But that was becoming expensive for them. Their architecture wasn't nimble enough. They weren't able to bring new applications out quickly enough, and they were getting outmaneuvered. And they had an expensive operating model that wasn't sustainable into the future if they wanted to continue to be the world-class airline that Cathay is. So Cathay worked with Red Hat and AWS to transform their IT operating model. They did that by adopting some of the technologies and the principles that you just got done talking about, which started with Red Hat Enterprise Linux and was really predicated on OpenShift, with Red Hat OpenShift. And OpenShift was the tool set that Cathay uses and continues to use today to develop cloud-native applications, but also to modernize those applications that they've invested in so heavily that they rely on, and they're highly secure, highly scaled, and to be able to work that environment seamlessly end-to-end, on-prem, private cloud to public cloud, and to be able to manage that environment in a seamless way. And by doing that, and by adopting that open hybrid cloud architecture and operating model, Cathay now has over 50 customer-facing, enterprise-class customer-facing applications that run on top of OpenShift in an open hybrid cloud, Red Hat open hybrid cloud environment today. So great, the technology is great, the transformation is great, but what really matters the most are the business outcomes that Cathay has delivered by moving to this model. And they now bring applications out faster. Customer sat and traveler sat statistics are improved. They've moved to a different a better improved economic model in their IT function. And they've linked better together the IT community and the business community within Cathay as well. So they've got more of a seamless environment and operating model to be able to bring new ideas and new capabilities to their customers more quickly. So it's all about business outcomes, and that's an example of a very large enterprise adopting this environment. And Roger, you've got one that I think is really personally cool. That's a smaller organization, but has a very important mission in its charter as well. Do you want to talk about GiveWith?
Yeah, happy to, Dave. Yeah, it's right now it's a small company, but it's got a big ambition. So I'll just put in a plug for GiveWith for a second. They're an IBM partner, but they're trying to be the social impact technology company that really changes the world. And what they're doing is they're routing a portion of any B2B transaction towards social causes. So if you look at what's going on in the world today, if it's families that are affected by COVID, or if it's the carbon problem, there's so many causes that need help. And GiveWith is looking to help take commerce between companies and use it as a source of funding to make that real. And we've used them inside of IBM in some of our transactions and helped support some of those causes as well. But from a technology perspective, they also find themselves in a really complex technical environment. They are working with large companies that are driving a lot of those transactions. They're also integrated into a lot of the tools that are part of that transaction environment. So if it's SAP Ariba as the procurement system that they're connected to, or if it's Salesforce CRM, there's a CRM system that's on either side of that transaction. They have to work with large companies and large software vendors and integrate those together. And they've replatformed onto OpenShift on top of AWS to facilitate that rate and pace of innovation that as a small startup they need to have, but also allow them to have those integration points and and ease of operations across those different environments their clients and their partners demand. So really exciting story for GiveWith. You can click the link, check them out. I think it's one of the coolest stories in technology today, and hope other builders look at this as as a model for how they build a scalable business on top of a hybrid platform. I'll shift gears for a second to start getting into some of the exciting offerings that we have as part of the partnership. But I'll say also, people talk a lot about hybrid cloud. You also hear us talk a lot about artificial intelligence. And I think often we talk about those things as if they're different, but they're really linked. If you look at what happens in a hybrid environment, to get AI for a business, it can't just do the AI on one data repository that lives on one public cloud. It needs to access the data that lives across the enterprise. I think there's a really cool stat about artificial intelligence. 2020 is the first year in which inference workloads are going to outnumber training workloads in AI. What does that mean? That means that we're using AI to drive business decisions, and it's not just a training or experiment within enterprises. And so Cloud Pak for Data is one of our offerings on top of OpenShift, on top of Amazon Web Services, that makes that real inside a hybrid environment. We've got what we call our Cloud Pak for Data Quick Start along with AWS. It's a reference architecture to help drive data and AI across hybrid environments. And if you dig into what Cloud Pak for Data is, it's a data and AI platform that allows you to analyze and fuse data. We've got over 45 AI applications. You can inject open source AI as well as IBM created AI algorithms. It allows you to organize data, so doing governance and permissions across data, models, algorithms, and insights, so that there's the right access to that data and AI to make sure it's secure and is still able to drive that business outcome. And then collecting data, so the ability to virtualize data sets so we can connect to data, drive AI and analytics off of it without having to pull all of that data into the center in order to do it. So it's hybrid AI across a multitude of different environments. And that's all part of the broader set of announcements that we're going through with Amazon, with AWS, Red Hat, and IBM. Dave, you want to talk a little bit about some of what's going on the Red Hat side?
Yeah, absolutely, Roger. So look, this page that we're showing right now really kind of shows how it all pulls together. And granted, it's a marketecture, if you will. But IBM, Red Hat, and AWS are doing a lot of joint work across the domains that are reflected on this page here. Just from the Red Hat side, we've had a relationship with AWS that spans back to 2008, and we have countless customers that are running. That started with RHEL, with Red Hat Enterprise Linux, and there's countless clients that are running mission critical applications and developing new applications, right, that aren't so big on RHEL, and that's been going on for over 12 years. We're really excited about the announcement that we've made with AWS around something called ROSA, right, which is Red Hat OpenShift Services on AWS. And this is a jointly developed offering, a jointly managed offering, which brings native OpenShift, right, native OpenShift running on AWS in an integrated fashion, right? So we're bringing the best of Red Hat's skills and capabilities and how to build and manage an OpenShift environment, the best of AWS's hyperscale capabilities, and all of the services that customers count on for AWS, whether that's compute, storage, network, all of the advanced tool sets, AI, ML, you talked about some of them as well, Roger. Obviously, third-party capabilities as well. And to be able to have that all easily accessible and easily consumable and available via the AWS console, right? So it's on demand, you pay for what you use, build in small increments, one bill from AWS, right? It's all there. So it's about simplicity, right? And we've been talking about this through this session, that for developers and operators, it's all about simplicity, it's about speed, it's about simplification of complexity. And that's really what ROSA is about, running on top of AWS, right, or with AWS, to take away that complexity. And of course, it is OpenShift, right? And we get asked sometimes, OpenShift is obviously a productized version, a downstream version of Kubernetes. Red Hat's been an early adopter of Kubernetes, and we've been at it for a long time. And we fundamentally believe, and customers tell us, and developers tell us, that they prefer OpenShift, right, over just going with a project, right, which is Kubernetes, because of that simplification and because of that surety and because of that consistency that a product offers, right? Of the testing that Red Hat does around Kubernetes to make sure the various services that are part of it run seamlessly together, versioning, right? Control, a single web UI. So we take that entire CI/CD chain and life cycle and simplify it for developers and simplify it for operators. That's the power of OpenShift, is to remove that complexity, do it on top of a pure head-to-toe open stack, and to make it easier for developers and for operators to build and to manage their businesses. So we're really excited about what we're doing with AWS, with ROSA. The open beta is coming out this week, actually, at KubeCon. Customers and developers will be able to leverage it also during AWS Invent. And we're very excited about it. And Roger, what we're also excited about with IBM is how invested IBM is as a partner to Red Hat in scaling adoption services to make it easy for customers, large and small, to adopt our portfolio, but to bring them value. And I know you want to probably talk about a few of those things and what IBM is doing around open hybrid cloud reality as well.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. Well, I'll just talk about a couple of things. So I'll just start on the far right with IBM Global Services. So we're investing with our clients in what we call OpenShift Everywhere, which is investing to help clients get their applications and modernize them to this platform and get that hybrid cloud benefit that we talked about. The IBM Garage, think of it like the true two people in a garage innovation approach, where we work with you to co-create the innovation you can have on top of this platform. So these are services capabilities that IBM is building and investing in with you to help you get down this journey to that hybrid innovation platform we described before. And it's all part of, for the builders in the audience, it's all part of this $1 billion investment that we're putting into helping our ecosystem get onto this platform, because we do believe that this is the more valuable innovation platform for both our clients and for our partners. And we're willing to put our money behind that because we believe in it that much. It's a really exciting set of announcements across AWS, Red Hat, and IBM. And I hope everybody takes the time to dig into these. To get started, though, I just say, if you're a developer, it's really easy to get going. So you can click get going on both the IBM and Red Hat technology. Click the link there to just get going immediately. If you're a client, you're a large enterprise that's thinking about how does this platform help my business innovate? I think the Garage approach, where we co-create together and show the power of this platform and how it can accelerate your innovation, be it in business function, digital applications, or AI, like I described before. And for partners, like I said, if you're interested in kind of capturing the value and innovation of this platform, we're investing together with you to help you get onto it and learn about it and build skills there. So if you're a partner, click the link there in order to help access the skills and investment and training from IBM and Red Hat to get going today. With that, I'll just say thank you for joining us. I hope everybody has a fantastic reInvent. I hope other people are as excited as we are about the hybrid cloud innovation platform and about what we announced today. Dave, I'll pass it to you.
Yeah, just thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate your time and looking forward to working with you.